Don't cry, you guys. It'll be okay. Okay.
Should I get Frank?
No, it's all good.
Okay.
They'll be able to, as long as they see one of us, they'll be able to just listen to the conversation.
Okay.
All right. So, do you have your sheet up?
Yeah.
The data mini sheet. Okay.
I can pull it up. Yeah.
Perfect. And so just in general, as we move forward with the data meetings, the goal is during internalization, we want an example of two examples of a 3 or a 4, 2 examples of a 2, 2 examples of a 1. And that's what we want prior, just so that we can kind of see if our grading is aligned and if the exemplar that we have is pretty similar. With this particular quiz, what did you think the standards were for this particular one?
Using the number line and then plotting points on the coordinate plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, so which specific standard?
Let me see. This is the data sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. So would it be the same standard I put on my internalization sheet?
So the internalization is for the week after. Usually, it'll be the previous week's internalization meeting. So that will lead into this one, so that we don't have to like reinvent the know and the show.
Okay.
So if you don't have it correct, that's okay.
I don't have it because
That's perfect.
I don't think like my first week I didn't do any internalization.
Which makes sense. So here is my exemplar. So keep in mind with this particular quiz, it's a lot of just you plug the numbers in, you don't have to explain things, and so that makes it a little more difficult. So this is mine, and let me go ahead and share the.
Can I use this pen?
Yeah, use whatever you need. I'm gonna share the. So with this one, the priority standard is 6 NS1, but it also has 6 NS3 in there. So we're really going to focus on 6 NS1. So if you're looking at those questions, 6 NS3 is number 1, and then the rest of them have a little bit of 6 NS3 in them, but for the most part, it is 6 NS1. Yes. Okay. And so I'm going to share the proficiency standards with you, just so that you can see what I'm looking at. And so like when we're talking about grading, you'll see exactly what it looks like to be like a 3, exactly what it looks like to be a 4.
I have a question. So for number 5, so I did the key with Abby. She said E.
E might have been. I went through that.
Can I circle the Okay. Okay.
But sometimes I have caught them being wrong more than a few times, and I've had to send those in. So like if we're looking at this, the distance from Baku to sea level is less, and then the distance from Lake Morris, which is true. Yeah. So then I should have circled that. And so did you get what I just shared with you?
Let's see. So I also have another question. It's not really about the data, but you said like the following week we'll be going through the unit exam or unit assessment, and we're supposed to take it today. So but the class link thing won't work, so I can't get into iReady.
Correct, and I'm gonna try and troubleshoot, but we might have to push back to tomorrow, and then today be a review day. I'm trying to get in myself, but we can't log in outside of ClassLink.
Because I emailed Abby, seeing if she had access, and she said no. So
I don't have access either. So I'll see if there's something I can troubleshoot to get it, but we might have to push that back. And then once again, I'll take it. I'm going to show you at the end of this where to grade it at. But essentially, we want to be normalized in terms of what our grades are for this and how we're grading this. So when you look at the grade 6 proficiency scale, it's the first one with 6 NS1, right? So on a 4, it says critique a representation of a real world situation and explain the structure of a model that involved positive numbers, negative numbers, or a 0 in a given context. So I can critique a representation. So on this one, I didn't think it was if they would have explained it in their own words, I could maybe see the number 5 being a 4.
Okay.
Since they didn't have to explain it in their own words, that's why I only put it as a 3.
Oh wait, can I see it again? I want to note the 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Yeah. And so like we can take a second to look at this prior to us filling out the data sheet.
Okay.
Just so that we can start to get aligned. So it is going to be a little bit of a learning curve with the standard base.
Graded on a standard base scale. I've always graded on like a A through F scale. So the number you put next to it is to indicate the standard. So you're grading the question at?
So the number that I'm putting next to it. So when we look at the test, we got to determine which question represents which standard.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at 6 NS1, right? 6 NS1, I can represent and compare positive numbers in a given real world situation. That's a 3 that shows mastery. So which ones do you think would be 6 NS1 based off what I just said?
Probably number 3.
3.
Sorry, and then like probably 5 because it's the C level started at 0, so that represents the number line.
What about 4?
I wouldn't say 4, but like partially 4. I don't really know because this whole chart here is getting them to like imagine the number line, but it's not specifically talking about number line. It's talking about money.
Yeah, which is why with that one, I decided to put that as a 2.
Okay.
Just because technically it's a real world with the money situation, but it's not that high level at all. You don't really have to compare all that much, and so it's not. I don't think it's as detailed as 5, so that's why I put it. But I can also see a 3 for this one as well.
Okay.
Because it does show. It doesn't really highlight what a 0 would mean. Like, oh, does it mean what does 0 mean?
Yeah, because this one says, like the 5th one says, like
specifically, and that's where I put it down to a 2. Okay. So that's where like a lot of it'll take some getting used to of like, okay, is this a 3? Is this and that's what our proficiency scales. So that's why we use these to kind of determine what is a 2, what is a 3, and so I can always help with that as well.
With number 1, why would you say it's a 2 instead of a 3? Because I would think that's a 3.
So with this one, the reason why I put a 2 is because this one is not 6 NS1.
Okay.
And so it's not a priority standard, but then it is 6 NS3. So when you look at 6 NS3, the reason why I didn't was just because of the context of it. And so with 6 NS3, you have to go to the 9 priority standards, and let me share this with you. And then you have to look to see.
I don't think 6 NS3 is on this one.
Yeah, so because it's not a priority standard, so it's not one that's super hot. Yeah, super. It can be important, but it's just not. It's not something that we're going to focus on too much. It's more of like a subset of 6 NS1. Okay. And so I just shared this with you. And so the reason why I didn't put it as a 3 was just because they're all the same. They're all fractions. So if they would have done something like 2.333 repeating, -2, 1/3, like a percentage maybe, then that would have pushed it to a 3 in my opinion. Now, keep in mind, I am not always 100% right on this. So if you're like, that's a 4, and I'm thinking it's a 3, let's talk about it, and then we can discuss, because I'm definitely not all the way right on these all the time either.
That's a quick question. Before grading, you want me to create the key? Like, so I already have the key, and then to go to the the standards.
Yeah.
And then break down which standard each question is meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
And so then once we give our like final grade, which it's another, caveat there, once we give our final grade, we'll have to see, okay, so I think that 2 is a 2-level question, 3 is a 3-level question, 4 is a 2-level, 5 is a 3. So this is the kind of subjective part at times. So if like a kid is getting all the 3s right, but maybe miss a 1, and maybe miss one of the 2s, is this student, I personally would probably give them a 3.
Okay.
And then if they're getting all the 2s right, but they're getting some of the 3s right, like maybe 1, and they don't get the other one, maybe a 2.5.
Okay.
So it all kind of depends. And your students a little bit better than I do as well. So it kind of depends on how they do on this particular, how they're doing on that. And so based on that, like in my opinion, I thought that 5 was a 3, and then I thought that 3 was a 3 because they're identifying what's at 0.
Yes.
And so if based on that is where we start to define like what percentage of our students are getting 3s, what percentage of our students are getting 2s, what percentage of our students are getting 0s.
Okay.
So we can go through that list, and then I can help you out really quick.
Because I have some 3s that are examples, but I don't know now that we're looking at the standards. I don't know if it would still be a 3. So
I mean, I could split them up and we could knock it out real quick if you want. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that really quick, and then we'll go through the rest of it pretty fast after that.
Yeah, so I haven't given any 1s, so I don't have any examples of that.
Okay.
But I do have 3s, 3.5s, 2s.
Okay.
I don't think I have any 1s though.
So then I'll knock these out really quick.
And then, so on their copy, should I write the standards that I'm grading based on, or should that just be on the key?
So you would so with 6NS, because once we get into PowerSchool, you'll see what we need to input into PowerSchool. So I would just you could put 6NS 1, and that's the one I would really just circle, and 6NS 3. So you would kind of give 2 grades, but the big grade would be the 6NS 1 because that's 4 of the questions.
Okay. And then, like, if they miss one part of a question that's at the 3, 6NS 3 standard, like, how do you take that off? Is it like half point, like quarter? I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so you could do like a 1.5 for that. So like if they're not getting it all correct, I would just go to 1.5 to make it easy.
Okay. And then, so for internalization Thursday, I'll just bring Unit 10 quiz, or should I bring the assessment?
So for unit,
because that's the one we took Friday, last Friday.
so for the internalization, that is always like the one moving forward.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry,
then-
the data meeting.
Yeah, the data meeting will be what
Unit
we're gonna
10.
try and get done.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're bringing. That's what I'm gonna try and get from you so that I can get it inputted. There's like this big, and that'll be a learning curve for us too, just because there's this big, it's different for the unit assessments. Those are big that'll be like a big Google sheet that we use, and then it looks a little different than the regular ones.
And then about tutoring, so like some of my students in both classes have been like wondering if I do tutoring or like do I offer services. So like how do
you want to do tutoring?
I don't really mind. I tutor outside of school Tuesdays and Thursdays, so it just really has to be based on my schedule.
Okay.
But I didn't know like if there was a rule about it or.
Let me talk to Miss Kendrick and then I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Like Dyson, Andre, Antonia. Antonia's mom reached out, so I didn't know like how to go about it.
Mm-hmm. And so also look how on number 1, like you can't get, like if the problem isn't a level 3 problem, the highest that they can get is a 2.
Okay.
So like it's difficult sometimes for the kids to see that. That's why if we're like inputting into the grade book, I would only really input problems where they're able to access a 3.
Okay. And then, like, I know it's not to say not as important, but I know math is prioritized.
Mm-hmm.
But with science, like, when I assign stuff in Amplify, can that be a part of like, I can grade that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Doing all right. How you doing?
How did Anthony's meeting go?
Didn't show up.
Mom didn't show up either? And he's not here?
He's here. I didn't know he was.
Jacob says he's here.
Yeah, I didn't know he was here. No, he never showed up. And she's supposed to walk around with him. So I'm about to call and put on. This is the behavior contract. This is we were supposed to meet. So I'll probably call and but yeah, I didn't know he was here.
All right, I'll try and get a hold of him.
I can.
Problem was.
I can. Oh, it's in buyer's room, but I can give the behavior contract to you. Okay. It deals with the fight and then deals with him walking out of class and things like that, and just some interventions that we'll do, but then what'll end up happening pretty soon if he doesn't, correct the behavior a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now what about the IEP part? Who does she need to get?
That's gonna be Tanya.
Okay.
Tanya's gonna be the one to help him out with the IEP.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, this one, Avani, he got one part of 5 right and one part of 4 right, but everything else is incorrect. So how would I?
You 1.5 or 1.
Okay. And then if I have a concern about a student like Havani, for example.
Of Avani.
Yeah, like so. I noticed in math and science, he'll just be like sitting there blankly almost. And I go around the room, I make sure everybody's keeping notes, and then like he's like my only one in both classes that I never see any movement, any participation, and even with me standing behind him, he still won't like.
Yeah, I would just document and then make sure you're reaching out to parents.
Okay. Then
that's where we'll start to raise it up to Ms. Green to see if there's an IEP situation there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I would do there.
Okay.
How you doing? Is this Stockton?
Yes.
Okay. Man, I had, some problems here, some serious problems I need to get taken care of. My computer wasn't working. I had to switch out computers on me. I tried to get some things printed. So I think that the IT lady, Ayana, she finally got me straight, on all of this nonsense. So that's why I wasn't able to come and talk to her. But, just to make a long story short, when I was, before you came back, Abby had told me, she had administered the quiz, and she says, I want you to go ahead and, give them the midterm assessments, and you are responsible for the grading, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, okay, so, I just followed what she told me to do.
Yeah, so let's meet tomorrow at 9.
Okay.
And then we'll meet in here at 9, and we'll go over exactly what grading should look like.
Okay.
It's gonna be a bit of a learning curve just because we're standards-based grading.
Okay.
But I'll show you all that, and then we can go through like what that looks like as well.
Okay, no problem. All right, yeah, man, and I sent you an email out, man. I've got that CPR AED. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut out around about 3. So I've got what they're supposed to be doing. They're gonna go ahead and take the quiz. So I've got the lesson 15 quiz that they're gonna do.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And Justin, he's in there, so.
Yeah, I'll be checking in.
Okay.
I might just take over the class.
Okay.
Depending on how my knee feels.
Right. Okay.
Just to make sure that we're.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of had to put something together because Renee had to print this out for me.
Yeah, and we don't have access either.
Yeah,
so,
okay. So, I did get it printed out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay.
And so if they don't get anything right, but they attempted it, that would be a 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't say that before.
It's okay.
All right, I am mostly done. And then occasionally, Dr. Mickens will have meetings regarding the grading scale.
Okay.
But so from now, what we want to do is organize these in terms of let's focus just on 6NS1.
Okay.
So we're gonna organize it. What is it like? How many 3s do we have? How many 2s? How many 1s?
Okay.
And then we'll just put the 2s, 2.5s in the 2s.
Okay.
Because they didn't fully master it.
And then if somebody only misses 1, that would be like a 3.5 or a 4.
So for this
Or does
one,
it
if they
matter
miss,
which
what did they miss?
It was a part of the true and false for part 4.
But they got everything else.
Everything else was right.
I would say that's probably a 3.
Okay.
Yeah. If they on this particular one, if they get everything correct, it's a 3.
Okay.
Because they don't have access to show the.
Anything more than that?
Yeah, like and now if they like on the side explained things like very deeply, then you can give them. But from what I'm seeing, nobody's explaining anything.
Okay.
Now they didn't ask them that, but that 4s kind of think of 4s as going above and beyond.
Okay.
That's usually what those are.
Okay, so I have some 3s. I only have 1.5,
So then the 3s.
and then I have a lot of 2s.
Okay, we'll take the 2s. And then the 3s.
Here's the 3s.
Okay, so then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 3s. So we'll write that down. 11 3s. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Here we go.
Yeah. It's unlocked.
I would say, we have time to give my mom a call.
Mr. Jefferson or me?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And I should,
Oh, and also in the future, make sure we're bringing both of them. We want like the data for the
for
full.
both classes?
Yeah.
Oh, I have this one, but I haven't started it.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll just finish this for today, just so that we can get in the groove of things.
Okay.
So for right now, we have 11, 14, and 1. So let's do the percentages now. And so with the percentages, we'll do 11 divided by 26. And that'll give us,
Wait, so you write down the
Yeah, how
1s,
many-
2s, and 3s?
yeah, correct. And then divide that by the total. So we have 42% that have, that are at, that have met the check for understanding, that are at mastery.
Okay.
And then we're at 14 divided by 26, 54% for approaching,
Okay.
and then 1 divided by 26, 4%, 4%. Okay. So, with that, what we would normally do, so move before, like this would be like pre-work, so we want that filled out before we come to the meeting.
Okay.
Now, if you need help with grading or anything, I can always help grade so that we can get this knocked out.
Okay.
But this is what we want before the meeting, and then we would compare what our what your exemplar looks like, what my exemplar, what a student exemplar looks like,
Okay.
and just see. So we've already kind of done that.
And the student exemplar would be anything that's a 3.
A 3 or a 4,
Okay.
yeah. And so now I'm gonna share this with you, share mine with you. And so I want you to kind of look through the data. And so look through some student exemplars. And so with the know and the show chart, I want you to kind of think of what do the students are able to show this because they don't know this. So what is the prerequisite thing that the students need to know that is holding them up from being able to show mastery?
Okay.
Does that make sense, what I just said?
Yeah. And then also the iReady book, it says like a prerequisite section,
Which
so
is
I
what-
could put that there.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
And so keep in mind, as we start to get in the groove of our lesson internalizations, the lesson internalizations will lead into this meeting. So we'll already have the know and the show chart from our lesson internalization from the previous week.
Okay. And then, well, it's kind of about this, but not. You said to have the standards posted in the classroom.
Yeah, so just your learning target for the day. So what the convenient thing is about iReady is it tells you like this is the lesson objective for the day. So you just put that up on the board. And like as you're going through the lesson, it's best teaching practice to kind of reference what they should be, what the goal is for the day.
Yeah, so did you see, I don't know if you were, like if you noticed, I put some tape on that section.
Yeah.
Would it be okay to have it there?
That'd be perfect.
Okay.
And so, I think I shared it with you, or if you already have it up for the lesson. Some of the prerequisite skills are compare and order whole numbers, use horizontal and vertical number lines to show rational numbers and represent quantities, describe quantities having opposite values. So which one of those are the prerequisite skills, which one of those do you think, actually before that, let's look at the show. The write, interpret, explain statement of order for rational numbers, understand absolute value of rational numbers as the distance from 0 on the number line, interpret absolute value as the magnitude of the number from 0 in a real world solution, distinguish comparisons of absolute value from statements about order. So looking at that, if you want to look here, which one aren't they able to show so far?
They're not able to show it?
Yeah, so like on the lesson objectives.
So I would say the last one, distinguish comparisons of absolute value.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for the prerequisite skills, which one don't they know, which leads into that?
Just use horizontal and vertical number lines, because when I started that lesson on Monday, it was like they were a little like caught off guard, like almost like we don't know what a graph is. Some of them were like, oh, I know what a quadrant is, but like a lot of them were just very thrown off by the number line. I did what you told me, like to do the plus plus, negative negative. That helped some people, but in general, they were like a little just overwhelmed by the look of it.
Any issue?
So now, what I want you to do is with our this is what we call our gap statement.
Okay.
So with your gap statement, based on what you said, students aren't able to show. So you can go ahead and write this out. Students aren't able to show. My bad. Students are not yet able to. Are not yet able to. You said distinguish comparisons of absolute value from statements about order.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and write this out as your gap statement.
Okay.
Students are not yet able to distinguish comparisons of absolute value from statements about order.
And that goes in the see the gap or?
On the name it. So on the name it, there's a gap statement area right it's like highlighted right below there. Here, let me.
Oh, okay, I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
So now students are not yet able to, and then that's where you put the distinguished comparisons of absolute value from statements about order.
It's distinguished comparisons.
Of absolute value from statements about order. because they don't fully understand how to use horizontal and vertical number lines to show rational numbers and represent quantities. Yeah, can you cover really quick? So,
can you tell them just to get their practice books out and start working on, just finish up lesson 10. They should probably be on page 95, if not 96.
All right, so I'm gonna get you out here real quick.
Okay.
So, what we would do from now, based on the percentages, if you have less than 30% at mastery, then what you would do is you would model it for them, and I would walk you through, like, so essentially with modeling, you would go to the board and you would do the entire problem for them as they write it down. Because you have between 30 to 70% of mastery, you want what is called a guided discourse. And so basically on your do nouns, what I would suggest that you do to reteach this is you're gonna have a guided discourse, and so we could pick problems specifically from the test, or if you want to make problems more aligned with your gap statement with the number line attached to it, so you can pick out certain problems and you would go through this particular problem together with them in a guided discourse. And so just like how you just told Mr. Jefferson to have them get started on it, as soon as they get in class, work on this particular problem from the quiz with the number line attached. You would work on that, and then you would give some guided discourse with that, and that would be our reteach, and then we would kind of just revisit it based on how they're doing on the reteach. In the future, though, my bad for interrupting, but in the future, what we would have a little more time, and as long as we have like the pre-work data, then we would be able to practice this together. So like we would be able to revise what that do now should look like, and then kind of script it out just so that it's flowing really well with the lesson.
Okay.
Yes, what's your question?
I was gonna say, so for do nows, I've been doing either one problem in the practice book that I know will be on the quiz, or like one problem that I know they're already struggling with, which was like graphing the point.
Perfect.
So like something like that would be okay.
Yes, and
For
so now they
do
didn't
it
do
section.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so now we know that they didn't do. There's a little gap in terms of the knowledge. Now this is our reteach. We do that for the do now for like a few days. You start to measure. So like as you're actively monitoring, which you are always doing. Now we're getting it. Now we're getting it. If they're not, now do it again for the next day. So that would be our reteach right there.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on anything?
Let me look through this and then let me see. So you showed me how to get the percentages. The proficiency skill. Exemplar would be anything that's a 3 or without this assignment a 4. Key gaps is anything they are not grasping. And then name it. Okay. I didn't notice the no one show at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, I had put that,
Okay.
but essentially just like you were saying with internalization, so we would have internalized this a week ago, and then it leads into this, so we would already have the knowing the show,
Okay.
and that would be ready. And so that first part of our data meeting, the review, the document before the meeting, we would already have that filled out. So like if you watch Ray go through it, he'll already have it filled out so that, and if you look at the times are pretty accurate in terms of see the exemplar, name it, and then do it. And so that our meetings will end up being like 20-30 minutes real quick.
Okay.
We find out the reteach process, and then we'll also start to add like, well, we can do an acceleration block as well. But we have to revise what that looks like just because we have a lot that we need to reteach in acceleration block. Okay. All right. Thank you for meeting with me.
Thank you.
And then same as usual, you can just turn in, link what you have into the Google Doc.
Okay, yeah, I haven't turned in the internalization one because I wanted to edit it and the parts that you said I need to fix before I turn it in.
Okay, perfect.